The things I've learned this week in Big Brother. If you scream like a banshee loud enough, you will apparently bite the inside of your mouth. The more you know. Hello everyone, I'm Dan the Man. Well, this week was something else. There's a lot to talk about. It seems to be the norm with this season so far, so I'll get right to it. First off, as we saw last week, Angela wanted to head a household and quickly set a plan in motion to get Bayleigh out of the house. Not a surprise, since Bay was stupid enough to tell people she was not aligned with about a power she should have kept to herself. But hey, why tell your allies when instead you could just tell anyone else who will listen? After Bayleigh finished dressing down Brett, the guy she just voted to get out, and if she had her way would have gone home by a unanimous vote for having the nerve to do something that wouldn't help her game so he could try to stay, because everyone should kiss up to the princes, including the people she wants to cost the game. After that self-important move, Bayleigh went to work to try and do damage control with Angela, but as usual, she handled it like an idiot. Not sure what she could have honestly done. She blew up her game when she told Rachel and then lied about Tyler after that, thus causing things to fall apart for her. Although she was lucky that Rachel and Angela were keeping it a secret to begin with at all, but she had to push it. So I don't know if there was anything she could have said at this point. But one thing she shouldn't have done was tell Angela all the details about her power. At the time, her and level 6, and I'll still call them that since they keep calling themselves that, even though there are actually 4 of them now. But at the time, her and level 6 didn't know how it worked, and for all they knew, Bayleigh could change the nominations after Angela put her up on the block or any time at all. And if they kept thinking that, Angela might have changed her mind about putting up Bayleigh out of fear of it backfiring. So of course Bayleigh had to make sure Angela knew it didn't work that way, and she could easily backdoor Bayleigh, because apparently that's what people who score 1 point away from a genius do. Guess she really needed that extra point. The truth is, Bayleigh should have used her power once it was out. Common sense would tell you that if someone not in your alliance knows something like that, you're going to be the target. So she should have taken her shot and used the power and hoped the veto wasn't played. But as one of Bay's many idiotic mistakes, she has always trusted everyone who wasn't actually aligned with her. Bay was convinced she could use her power as a bargaining tool, not realizing telling people was the reason she was in trouble to begin with. That plus her ego that everyone must love her left her trusting Angela and primed for a blindside. And as such, nominations came and Angela put up Rockstar and Scottie. As she said, she would have been okay with either going, neither were aligned with her or even working with her, and Scottie was a challenge threat who might endanger her if he one had a household. But her target was always Bayleigh. But for a while, it looked like Bay may have gotten a Hail Mary. For as we saw, the hacker competition happened, and Hayleigh won it. And to the surprise of most people, Hayleigh was on to Tyler a lot more than we thought. Don't agree he was a floater, since he's clearly been on level 6's side all game, but he has played both sides to a point, and Hay at least saw that and put him on the block. Had he stayed up next to Rockstar, he likely would have gone home too, as with the added power to cancel a vote, she almost surely would have had the numbers to get him out over Rockstar. And boy would Tyler's fans have lost it even more than they did when he went up in the first place. For the record, I do agree changing a nomination, being able to pick a veto player, and canceling a vote, all completely anonymous, thus minimizing any chance of blowback, is a lot of power, so like I predicted last week, I wasn't thrilled with the hacker competition. But at the same time, Tyler being able to use the cloud is a lot of power. So is Bayleigh's power. Hell, so is Sam basically getting a second chance for the first 4 weeks if she went home. BB's always bucking things up with their stupid twist, but fans only really complain when it hurts people they like. If Tyler had won the power and put up Fessy, Hayleigh, or Bayleigh, a lot fewer people would have complained about how unjust the whole thing was. Now before discussing how Hayleigh handled it, I got to address Sam's little house meeting, which seemed like the craziest meeting we were going to get this season, but well, you know what happened, but more on that fiasco later. But Sam's little offer to let everyone throw the hacker app to her and she wouldn't use it, and everyone could hold hands and sing la-di-da. While it looked like it might have been some scheme, I do think she was totally serious and would not have used it. But why on earth did she think anyone would go for that? There's no way the people on the block would miss the chance to take themselves down. Were they supposed to help seal their fate just so everyone could get along? That wasn't happening. Hell, even Angela, who was going to put said 2 people up, said as much because she knew it was never going to work. Plus, as Angela also pointed out, Sam really just wanted control. I mean, why did it have to be her? Why not throw it to Angela if you didn't want the chaos. She was the head of household who would be getting shafted the most, besides whoever went up if they went home, so why not throw the contest to her and let her keep control of her head of household? If you were actually going to do this at all, which you weren't. The answer: Sam thinks everything is about herself, and that's why. They don't show it, but that girl says I and me more in one conversation than most people do in their entire life. So that is why she thought it had to be her. Not that it would have mattered, they weren't throwing it to anyone like that anyway, but that's why it was supposed to be her they were going to throw it to. I'm sorry, I know a lot of people like Sam, and believe it or not, I don't truly hate her. No one's perfect, and in the real world, she might be a perfectly pleasant person to know. At least if she likes you. But she's not been impressing me, both in her gameplay or in her general actions. She's certainly no Bayleigh, but that girl has issues herself. But either way, Tyler went up and was on the way to fans screaming he was robbed. But as we saw, he didn't go home. Hayleigh made a mistake for one in choosing Kaycee as the veto player she picked. I get it helped steer suspicion away from her, more than she realized given level 6 trying to push Bay to do that, thinking Bayleigh was the hacker. But it also assured before veto was even picked that there were 3 people, including Tyler, who would have taken him down. And with only 2 people in Hayleigh and Fessy who would have left knobs the same or taken down Rockstar, the odds were against it being picked, and they weren't. So left with only Rockstar playing, who would have not taken down Tyler in a physical competition no less, and Tyler, not surprisingly, got taken down. Granted, Hayleigh didn't realize how much the odds of someone taking Tyler down with that specific group truly were, but had she taken a chance and put up Fessy, her plan might have worked, as there was a good chance he could have won that competition. But Hayleigh didn't do that, so her plan didn't work. Angela won the veto, which impressed me when I heard that until I saw it was the pick and gift one, and knowing Angela would do what everyone but Rockstar wanted, no one took the veto from her despite her going out second. But either way, it worked, and Angela got to take down Tyler and put up someone she wanted. Hayleigh made a good effort to truly change the game, likely in her favor, but it ultimately failed. Bay tried her best to sway Angela, but it only made Angela want her gone more, and as we saw, Bayleigh was blindsided. Now I think everyone knew that was going to be drama, but man oh man, the chaos it wrought. For as we saw, Hayleigh couldn't handle the guilt of believing she got Bayleigh in trouble and that she was the reason Bayleigh was on their way out, and she came clean to Bayleigh about being the hacker. Now this was a horrible game move, and I think Hayleigh's going to regret this when she looks back. For one, it simply isn't why Bayleigh is going home. Level 6 thought she was the hacker because they wanted it to be true so they could justify sending her home even more. But they would have likely done it regardless because Bayleigh's power was simply too dangerous to keep her around. Bayleigh was not working with any of that side of the house and could not be trusted and could cost one of them royally. They were never going to let her stay, and this is why they were backdooring her. Tyler was not lying. It really was irrelevant if she was the hacker or not. But Bay played pity party, and because she couldn't accept her many mistakes, such as constantly being rude to people, trusted people not in her alliance instead of the people she was working with, driving Scottie away with endless, almost daily instances of swearing on the Bible for things he didn't do because she couldn't forgive what happened over a month ago, and telling everyone not in her alliance about her power, but lying about her to her own alliance longer than she had any logical reason to. These were the things that doomed her. But she doesn't take responsibility, so it was all the hacker's fault. If only they didn't think she was a hacker, she would have won this game. So saith Bayleigh. And Rockstar, Fessy, and especially Hayleigh bought whatever self-absorbed pity party she threw at them, and so Hayleigh couldn't take the guilt. Now I'll give Hayleigh some slack, because I believe she genuinely cares about and considers Bayleigh a friend, although I don't know why, and was genuinely racked with guilt, and knew it was a bad game move, but figured it wasn't worth weighing on her soul. I think when she gets out and has a clear perspective of everything actually going on, she might regret it since this could cost her the game, but she did a dumb thing for the right reason, if not a misguided reason. So Hayleigh decided to throw a house meeting to try and save Bayleigh and came clean about being the hacker. While I doubt it actually was ever going to change anything, what ironically killed any chance of Bay somehow surviving, however small it was what Hayleigh said next. She mentioned the lie Bayleigh said about Tyler wanting to put Angela on the block, which by the way, it was Bayleigh's idea to mention, they just didn't show that part. Although I'm still not sure if Bayleigh really lied or misheard Tyler. Tyler didn't try to throw Angela under the bus for sure, but arguably someone could have misinterpreted what he said. I don't know if they thought Tyler would start yelling or what, but he remained calm, and meanwhile, maybe because Tyler was not taking the bait and stooping to her level, Bayleigh lost her ever-loving mind and screamed like a banshee at Tyler. Screamed so hard her mouth started bleeding, because apparently if you screamed loud enough, you could bite the inside of your mouth and draw blood somehow. I've never in my life heard of that happening. Her allies asked her what happened after that. She said she blacked out and didn't remember doing it to herself. But she's fine now. Well, that's not scary. Nope, that's not scary at all. As you can imagine, Bayleigh turned into a raging, screaming lunatic who apparently found a way to bring physical harm to herself by shouting did not make them want to keep her more. And as such, Bayleigh was voted out by a 6-1 after Tyler's vote was canceled. Which brings me to the one vote to keep Bayleigh. Not by Hayleigh or Fessy, who tried until almost the bitter end to save Bayleigh, but late the night before the vote, Scottie was selling Hayleigh hard on going with the house and not further falling on her sword for Bayleigh when she had no chance of staying, and clearly, Hayleigh listened and brought Fessy on board. Although some have said before the feeds went down, Bayleigh told Fessy and Hayleigh to vote against her, so that could be it. But either way, the lone vote for Rockstar did not come from Bayleigh's allies, it came from Sam. So what happened there? Well, my first instinct is to think it was a sympathy vote, as it was clear Bayleigh didn't have the numbers even if Hayleigh and Fessy did vote Rockstar like they were going to. But a couple interesting things happens before the feeds went down that's worth mentioning. Although they might show some of this on Sunday. Sam had earlier made a peaky promise to Bayleigh never to vote her out and seems to have been feeling sorry for Bay after the blow-up. I honestly can't tell how much of Sam's behavior is an act or if she's 100% sincere, but she seemed to be really reluctant to want to vote out Bayleigh. Most assumed she would go with what Tyler said, but Level 6 was nervous she might react emotionally and vote for Rockstar. While they technically didn't need her vote since they had Scottie's, they understandably were not ignorant of the fact Scottie could have been lying about wanting to vote out Bay and being over the hive. He had legit flipped, but they didn't know that, so Level 6 was nervous Sam might muck their plans up. So Tyler, in another effort to show he's a mastermind, he told Sam about his power, claiming they couldn't keep Bay because if so, he would have to use it and someone he was close to would go home instead. And Sam seemed hurt he kept it from her all this time. Somewhat understandable since she told him about hers right away, but strategically it didn't make sense for Tyler to tell anyone. Some fans said this was a brilliant move by Tyler to cement his bond to Sam, but others pointed out telling her this late was not the best way to show he trusted her, and Sam seemed to feel that way too. It was actually the best reason not to tell anyone. Telling them later on like this showed he'd been keeping a secret. When he might not even have to use it, it's a bad move to tell anyone unless he has no choice but to use his power. But Tyler apparently was so worried he couldn't control one vote, he panicked even though he didn't need to. Also, another interesting thing happened with Sam. According to several sources, she tried to self-evict. Apparently, before the show was going to go live, Sam went into the diary room and tried to say she was going to refuse voting. They of course told her she couldn't do that, and she apparently tried to make a break for the door, which is where the exit is, that counts as self-evicting, but Big Brother talked her out of it. A lot of fans have turned on Sam after this, and honestly, I don't know how much of this is game and how much of it is her, although it's been my experience if players are acting like a fool, it's usually because they're a fool. Assume it was the act of cunning, crude strategy instead, will almost always leave you disappointed in the end. So I don't know what's up with Sam, although a lot of people have turned on her for her endless whining and saying she doesn't want to be in this game, that she hates this game, that she's too kind for this game, and trying to go home. To all those fans that are mad Sam's basically given up and won't shut up about wanting to go and being stuck there, because apparently Big Brother's holding the gun to her head or something, I just want to say, I said she sucked almost a month ago. Yeah, I'm not above and I told you so. So were either of these the reasons Sam vote flipped? Was she upset at Tyler wanting to make a point? Did she crack under the pressure? Was this actually a strategy to get Bay's vote in the jury house? I'm not sure, maybe we'll find out more on Sunday. But Tyler may have lost some of Sam's trust, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Although he's so secure now, it may not really be a bad thing for him either. So, was Bayleigh the right choice? Yes, for everyone involved. Bayleigh was confrontational, irrational, and way too emotional. Not to mention she couldn't stop making dumb moves for no logical reason. So even for her allies, she was slowly becoming a liability, even if they didn't see it that way. And for everyone else, it would be stupid to keep someone who is that angry at them and has the power to screw them over around. It would have been a horrible and idiotic move for them to keep her once she let them know about her power, so they wisely didn't. After the vote, we had the head of household, and as we saw, with her back against the wall, Hayleigh pulled out the win. She likely saved her big brother life with that win, because I have no doubt if anyone on level 6 or their side won head of household, or even the hacker comp, Hayleigh was going to go up and very likely go home if she was on the block come Thursday night. Her side obviously isn't out of the woods yet, because if someone not aligned with Hayleigh, meaning anyone who isn't Fessy, Rockstar, or Hayleigh herself, win the hacker comp, then Fessy or Rockstar are almost surely going on the block, and if they don't end up getting off by the veto, they won't have the votes to stay. But it was definitely a win when she and the Hive desperately needed one. Either way, I'll be here to give my thoughts on all of it come next week. And given this group, anything really can happen, as they show every week. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell for notifications. I'm Dan the Man, and I'll see you next time.